Stephen will be joining on here for in a few minutes. And then next week, I haven't updated the title, but just to give you an insight about next week, we're going to talk about special use land and special use mailers, basically, how to find them and what that's all about, because that's something that we're personally doing a lot of. And I know a lot of people, you get into this and you find your niche and you're like, okay, now I know what my property is. I only need to do those. I'm the only one that clearly knows how to solve this problem, whatever it is, or understands this property type. So I need to zero in on just that. So that's going to be the whole topic for next week. Hello, Stephen. I see you are there. How are you? I do not have audio yet for you, so hopefully you're getting that. And Aaron, if you would pipe in here, let me know that you can hear me. Everything's great.
No, you're just talking to an empty room.
I am.
No, you're all set. You sound
Okay.
great.
Okay, good. Thank you very much. My lights are flashing, so I think that's good. So, okay, cool. Awesome. So as everyone's joining in, give another welcome, and I'll repeat what I just kind of went over. So I'm Jill DeWitt, and here joining us in a minute, Stephen, when you can speak, just
I am here.
jump. Oh, good. Okay, go. Thank you. Is my partner in crime, Stephen Jack Bitala, and we are Land Academy and House Academy too. By the way, that's going to be making a big appearance here coming up in the next weeks and months as shifts change in the market, and we see great opportunities coming our way. We will talk about that too. But we have been in this world of full-time land investing, me for over a decade, you for, I'll just say 25 years, and going on 3 decades for you, Stephen. But,
Yep.
And we together have just ourselves about 16,000 transactions that we have completed. So we have all kinds of great stuff to share. So that's why we're here doing this on Clubhouse. You think you're the first one making that mistake? Probably not. We've probably done it too. So we are here to help you and save you and answer any questions you want. And the main thing that we do still is land, and we're going to talk more about this. Steve and I were just chatting yesterday, and he was talking about some documentaries he's watching and some kinds of interesting things about international, how it happens in other countries and other things going on in our country. And basically, at the end of the day, it all comes down to land, everything. So that has been what has kept food on our table for decades. And I know a lot of people in and out of Land Academy that are happily, paying their bills, being very successful, by the way, quitting their jobs by flipping land. So we are here to share that. And that's kind of what Land Academy is all about. And then I love everybody here joining in. Thank you. Whether you're in Land Academy or not in Land Academy, new to this, we welcome all questions and comments and insight. We really are here to help you. That's why we started Land Academy. So today our topic is phase 2 due diligence for land deals. So in a minute, I'm going to talk with Stephen here for a minute, and then I'll tell you, I'm going to describe what is phase 2 due diligence, and I'm going to talk to you about what are you looking for, what is phase 2, when do I know I'm in phase 2, and then what am I looking for in my phase 2 due diligence kind of thing. And then, we'll just answer questions as we go. So do you want to add, Stephen, I don't know if you want to save it for the podcast or you want to share anything about what you were telling me, you're talking about this morning in the kitchen over coffee about it all comes back to land.
I mean, it's very fitting that we're having this topic today because I'm constantly, and this is, I guess, my personality, looking for flaws. Mm-hmm. I'm constantly asking myself, why would this end? What's the single point of failure to buying vacant land the way that we do by sending out mailers and stuff? And I came across at the suggestion of one of the senior members on Discord, which is what we have in Land Academy, where we all kind of communicate with each other. I'm going to pull it up so I can share it with everybody. This YouTube channel about economics and how there's one video that was very well put together on YouTube about how nobody owns land in China. And the appreciation that they're seeing for primary residences is staggering. They're actually running out of land. They're very, very tied to these big cities, unlike we are. We can live anywhere and do this. And there's a substantial number of people in this country who work from home very successfully. That's just not the case in China. So they're all literally living on top of each other and running out of land. And the government controls everything. So
it's amazing.
It's just an interesting point. It does not, I don't think it's really going to affect us, but it's interesting.
Mm-hmm. How lucky we are.
Yeah. I'll find this YouTube channel and share it with everybody here in a second.
Cool. That's what comes back to me. At the end of the day, it's funny because people say, well, okay, this is great. We're all doing this successfully in the United States. Have you branched out? And yeah, we have. But we come back to, it's nowhere in the world is it as easy to do what we do than here in the United States. Hence, why we have a lot of international members, too, that are in Land Academy. We just met one really sweet, I don't know if he's on here now. I'm looking here. Sweet Irish guy who happens to be, no, I don't see he's on the call today. But Kieran, we met a couple weeks ago in the States right now for school stuff and doing it from Ireland with his dad very successfully.
The name of the channel is called Economics Explained, and there's probably 10 or 15 at least videos in there. I haven't been all through all of them, but what's triggered my interest is they talk about affordable housing, which is a hobby of mine right now. I don't understand why there's such a lack of affordable housing, and what I've determined is that there is affordable housing. It's just not where people want to live, or at least this young generation doesn't want to live where it's affordable.
Exactly. I gotta kind of giggle about that because not to pick on anybody, but this is the stuff this is totally what Stephen and I talk about. He's like, Stephen will say, this is us. We're just driving back in our RV from California last weekend. And Stephen's like, that we could both work at Walmart and we could have an okay life in this town on the minimum wage kind of thing. And I'm like, yeah, okay, that makes sense. And he's like, so why are people not doing that? I don't, people, they don't want to be there. It might be in not the greatest place, but you could still have a really nice life and afford things. So
I'm inundated with these news stories because my job, the job that I've assigned myself, one of the jobs is to talk about real estate news on our Thursday call, which we have at 3:00 right after this, actually. Mm-hmm. And it's just the whole news is spattered with affordable housing and it all with this all wrapped up in this whiny tone, like it's over. Our parents could do it, but we couldn't do it.
I know.
And I just don't think that's the case.
I agree. There's ways to make it happen. One is make more money, true, but there's other ways too, like you just said.
Totally off topic.
I know, but this is fun. This is good. I like it. Okay, so back to the topic. For anyone just joining, I'm going to reset real quick here. I'm Jill DeWitt with Stephen Jack Butala, and we are Land Academy. Make sure, too, if you've got someone that you think would find interest here, you want to ping them, get them in the room. Somebody in here, gosh, you just connect with them. Make sure you follow them, follow us, follow our group, the Land Investing Club here on Clubhouse, so you'll get notified. And we're now on a every other week schedule, and I'll talk more about that at the end, about what we're going to talk about next week too, or next time. Just make sure that you get notified of all that. So what is phase 2 due diligence for land deals? Like, hold on a moment, everyone. Let's back up for a second. Why do we even have more than one phase of due diligence? I send out an offer in the mail. This is how we do it. It comes back signed. I look it up. I'm good, right? I checked it and it looks right. So I was going for, everything's great, and that's it. Sometimes that's the case. Sometimes you can do it that fast. When the deals come back, I have like phase 1 and I have phase 2 of due diligence. So my phase 1 due diligence is 5 minutes or less. And you can get there, I promise. You need to be able to be at your computer looking at the deal, and I mean looking at a map, looking on Google Earth, looking on NeighborScoop. This is how I do it. The deal comes back. I have a signed purchase agreement. I'm sitting down, every day at X time, whatever it is for you, and I'm looking at multiple deals at the same time. And I'm pulling it up on NeighborScoop. First thing I'm doing is checking the 5As. Is it the right person? Does it have access? Is it got an attribute? Is it everybody alive and able to sign? Is it affordable? Is it the right acreage for I'm going for? All those things. Check, 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 and check. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to quickly jump over and go, all right, did I price it right? Do I really still want it? Kind of thing. And this is all in the same 5 minutes. So I'm jumping in, I don't know, Zillow, LandWatch, whatever makes sense to you, where somewhere I can get a healthy amount of comps and not just land. Because I'm looking at land and I'm sending out 5-acre properties in, some city in Oklahoma, I don't know. And I'm going to pull up the land deals in Oklahoma, all the 5 acres, and just see what are the days on market right now. If I see 10 of them or 20 of them with 282 days on market, I'm going to get a little concerned. I'm going to think I missed something when I sent out, or either something changed or I missed something when I was first picking my counties. But I'm looking at that. I'm also looking at houses too, and just making sure things are moving. And I also want to make sure too, when I pull it up, there's not a ton for sale. I don't want to be swimming in a sea of 5-acre properties going, shucks, how am I going to differentiate myself from all these that are for sale? If there's 2, oh, that's great. If there's very few, like if you have trouble finding comps, that's even better kind of thing. I like that. So all that is phase 1. Do you want to add to that, Stephen, before I talk about
Yeah,
phase 2?
taking it back to an even more simple, approach. Do you like the deal? Do you like the land? Does it make just basic sense that somebody's going to want to buy this? Because if you don't, no one else is. That's level 1.
That's a good point.
And another thing, even at this point, Jill and I are lucky because there's 2 of us. But even at this point in my career, I especially if it's a larger deal, will find one of the senior members in on Discord in Land Academy and ask them what they think. And very often they'll see something that we don't that's negative, and we won't do the deal. So this is about level 2, phase 2 due diligence, which she'll cover in a minute. But you just got to take a test for reason, is what we call it internally.
Mm-hmm. So say it passes all your tests. So you looked it up, like, wow, it looks great. I might need to check the setbacks. So you love it. It's got a pretty. You can tell it's real pretty. There's a creek along the back. Let's just say, the access is phenomenal. The guy you're talking to is awesome. He's the owner. Everybody's alive. All these things check out. You're really liking it. Now you're going to move it forward to phase 2. Now, and by the way, what doesn't make it to phase 2, the ones that you go, oh, nope, I see the problem. There's no access, legal or physical. I just found out too that the guy I'm talking to is the grandson of the owner. Okay, how much is that going to take to get all this transferred? Or he thinks he has the power. He doesn't know yet, kind of thing. And, maybe I offered 8,000. He wants 28,000. Okay, we're kind of done. That's my phase 1 going no, no, and no. Kind of. So, but the other ones that didn't have those issues, like we just talked about, now I'm moving to phase 2. And the percentage, just to kind of give you an idea, I'm going to say of 20 that come in, 5, I'm going to say, is a healthy number. Then I'll move them 5 to 8. If it all, it depends on what comes back. I'm going to move into phase 2. And then in phase 2 is all the stuff where you're going to look for problems and you're going to try to kill your own deal at this point. This is how I look at it. I don't want to make a mistake. I need to dig a little deeper.
By the way, what works for us might not work for other people, and vice versa. There's properties like Florida in particular I don't understand from a land market standpoint. That doesn't mean it's not bad or not good. We have a couple people in our group that are Florida experts, and I would never, ever consider doing a transaction without talking to them first.
That's one of the examples I was going to use.
Oh, sorry, Joe.
No, it's perfect. No, thank you for bringing that up. Because one of the things that I do in level 2 due diligence is, like, especially Florida. Like we have a guy who just came out of career path. He was in career path. Was he in 1 or 2? I can't remember. Anyway,
2.
2. Okay. But he's an agent. He's also been a licensed agent in Florida for a long time. So he knows a lot about Florida, and that's his place. So I will run things by him and go, all right, hey, I need to make sure I'm not missing anything. That's part of my level 2. I've checked this, and this. I think it's great, but can you be my last pair of eyes on this kind of thing?
Right.
And that's one of the things that you do in level 2 due diligence. So level 2 due diligence is really, I'm going to kind of give you the big picture. You're looking for problems. You're trying to kill your own deal. And you are trying to, basically, I'm trying to prove myself wrong so I don't make a mistake.
You're trying to find a flaw. It's really interesting. It's, there's so many unintended consequences of Land Academy. Jill and I didn't start Land Academy to make money. We started it to create business partners for ourselves. And it's amazing what happens when you ask other people what their opinions are about real estate deals. It's just the stuff that comes out. You'd never anticipate it. Mm-hmm. And then Jill's right. We're constantly, I never did this in the beginning of my career, but all we do now, Jill, is look for flaws. We don't look for the good stuff because the good stuff already just generally happening. Like, well, how can we lose on this deal?
Mm-hmm. That's exactly it. We've got to the point, that's the nice thing, Stephen, we've got to the point where, you're front end, picking the counties, collecting the data, pricing it and getting out in the mail. I am never questioning it. When it comes back signed, I'm only making sure that there's only going to be something that we couldn't pick up.
Yep.
That's usually it. Like the mobile home that was there is now gone. Or, something crazy happened kind of thing. That's what I'm looking for. So please, by the way, everyone here in this room, we got a good group here. Raise your hand if you have some questions or comments or thoughts, and love to bring you on the stage and, talk about it. So I love it. And running it by someone. That's one of the beautiful things, too, about Land Academy. It's, it's been a wonderful thing that we've grown into this community that we really do lean on each other and help each other and look at deals in other areas. And it's funny, it even happens on our Thursday call, which is happening today. Every day at 3:00 Pacific time, we have our member call, and it cracks me up how many times someone will pipe in and say, like, we're doing a deal review, like, would you do this deal? And someone will say, I live 20 minutes from there, buy it. I'm like, oh, there you go. Mm-hmm. And there's your inside information.
I mean, that's, put a value on that.
I know.
I mean, it's truly inside information.
Mm-hmm.
On Wall Street, you go to prison for that. In real estate, it's rewarded.
Isn't that funny? That's hilarious. You know what? You're right. How many times, like, someone will say, like, not only do I live 20 minutes from there, but Amazon is building a warehouse. Like, okay, exactly. What more do I need? Exactly. I'm going to bring, I think, Aaron. I'm going to help Aaron real quick. I'm going to get Michael up on stage here. Hopefully that works.
They should be coming up. I think the Clubhouse is a little slow today.
Okay, got it. Good.
I'm here.
Hey. Hi, Michael. How are you?
Michael, how are you?
Hey, we're doing all right. Just love these Clubhouses. It's the only opportunity where I get to talk to you guys. But I wanted to ask you a question to what you were saying about due diligence. And Jack, what you just said just kind of hit me. When you look at a piece of land and you ask yourself, if I like it, what's the chance that somebody else is going to like it, right? And I don't know if you saw those recent pictures I just put on Discord, the one with the RV on it, the
yeah.
RV. Mm-hmm. Right. And if you look at the picture, there's, you can hardly see it, but there's a mountain view in the back. And when we got there, it just started downpouring. But I'm struggling a little bit with that property because, one, I like it. I see it, and like there's a mountain right there. I'm like, oh, this is great. There's power on the property. But from a price per acre perspective, it's great. But then when we look at the property compared to its valuation from the county, we're high because because a lot of the property, there's some wetlands on it, and it kind of cuts across a big chunk of the back side of that acreage. So it kind of cuts the property in half, even though that the owners say that they walk across it, it's not a big deal, and maybe they even take ATVs to get to the other side without sinking in the mud. So in terms of trying to kill my own deal, I'm like, well, it looks great, the acreage is great, the price is great, but now I can kind of understand why the valuation is so low because of the wetlands. So, what would you do in a situation like that? I mean, would you stick to the idea like, geez, I like it the way it looks, it feels good. I mean, there's a little shed on it, there's power on it. Somebody's going to love it. Or would you try to say, well, the opinion from the county does have some weight on it because of the wetlands. How much value would you put there?
I'll give you I watched this all unfold in Discord over the last few days, and I'll give you my answer in a second. But I have a question for you first.
Yeah.
On a scale of 1 to 10, you and your wife, how picky are you? I know you have tons of deal flow. You always have. You've been in the group for a really long time.
Well, that's not true. That's not true. We don't have tons of deal flow. We have our own struggles too here. Let's be. I want to be transparent to everybody that's here. The business is simple, but to say that it's easy, it's not easy. Deals just don't flow to me. No, they don't. I'm still learning, and I think I plan to join your intensive next week or next 2 weeks because I need to constantly sharpen my sword. So, but go ahead.
On a scale of 1 to 10, how picky are you guys? And I'll answer my own question after you. Like 10 being the crazy, most picky, scrutinize every transaction, take no risks at all, and 1 being you buy everything.
Yeah, I think we don't buy everything for sure. And are we picky? I guess we just don't want to lose money. And now, I think what you're alluding to is if you're not taking some risk and you're not screwing up here and there, you're not pushing yourself hard enough, right? So yeah, how picky are we? I'd say we're moderately picky.
Joe, what do you think about us?
I'm moderately picky, but you know what I do, Michael? This is all part of my faith too. Everything you just described, I would be totally in, and I'd be saying to myself though, all right, what's going to be the one thing that's going to solve this problem no matter what, and then I won't lose how well I buy it, how cheap I buy it.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I would come back at this point, having uncovered all this information, and say, look, I need it at this price.
Well, here's something I didn't disclose to you. So we were working with a whitetail realtor, mm-hmm. and he comes back to us. He says, "We're buying it for like 15 or 14, let's call it." And he says 44,000 it could sell for. Whoa, we didn't expect that.
Cutting to the chase,
even though it's a small acreage.
Cutting to this chase, I would buy this. I would do that deal all day long, mm-hmm. And I would leave that mobile because this all started because you asked you asked everybody in Discord, would you leave this mobile home or this RV on it? And I'm like, and it is right out of a horror movie. I'm looking at it on the screen right now. But I think that's cool. I think this land business we're in is packed full of DIY people that think they're going to go live there. So leave it the way it is.
Here's an update on that too. The owners they agreed to remove it. Somebody's going to come and scrap it out for metal, but they are going to leave the shed that's on there that's kind of permanent and I'll say dry. So that's going to stay. I think it's
we're an 8.5. I would put us at an 8.5. Mm-hmm. Maybe for deal funding, probably a 9. That's how picky we are. My answer, and you're right on these mini programs. What do we call these things that are starting next week?
Coming up. Yours is get your first mailer or get the mail out, and mine is how I get deals done.
Yeah.
And so I think that'd be great to have you actually, Michael. Would be a great addition to the whole thing. But
is that for real newbies, or at this maybe I shouldn't go because
it's not for newbies.
It's not.
Can I pause for a second?
One.
Explain
go ahead,
this.
Joe.
So we started a couple for anyone just wondering what we're talking about, we started this year, we've done 2 so far, these sessions called Career Path, where they're 10-week programs. We take anybody from, and we have breakout sessions depending what level you are of experience. And we're taking you, trying to get you from, wherever you are to, 5th gear, basically. So we decided this quarter, we're taking a little pause and starting those up in January. This quarter, we're each doing 2 very detailed deep dives programs. They're 3 weeks each. It's 3 Tuesdays in a row in November, the first, second, third Tuesday in November. And I think I don't know if they're both Tuesdays anyway, it doesn't matter. Mine is how I get deals done and dealing and really deep diving into talking to sellers, talking to buyers, and phone calls, and how I win these people over and get the deals that people can't get, and getting them to agree to my price and what I want, how I want this to go, kind of thing. And then Stevens is a whole separate about mailers, getting mailers more detailed. And I think it's for everyone. It doesn't matter your level. It's actually more for people that aren't brand new, because you can get the mechanical stuff just out of Land Academy and learn how to, do all that. Stevens is more involved, and it's kind of like we did that data tree thing. I see yours as, correct me if I'm wrong, Steven, you did a data tree video a couple months ago with how we're doing things now, and you're going to really dissect all that and really get into it, and even show some new nuances and things that you have
Yeah, it's
uncovered.
exactly what Michael said, constantly sharpening the sword, and so there's new stuff now about market hotness that we haven't discussed in any program, and there's new things come up every single month. So all of that I'll talk all about that.
And Jill, Kathy signed up for you, so we're excited.
Oh, good.
Yeah, I know Mike has been thinking about it, so I think we should peer pressure him into it.
Yeah, you know what, Michael, you guys have 2 people also. I mean, it's just so much easier, I think, especially if you have any amount of respect for your partner. Having 2 sets of eyes on this stuff. Jill saved me several times from deals recently, and vice versa.
And Kathy, is getting better and better at it. She's mostly on the sales side, but I'm still working this day job, and I still, I'm trying to be more just like you. All I want to do is like yes or no and send the mail. Send the mail and yes or no on key deals. It's kind of like where I want to be.
That's my justification for everything, is just send out tons and tons of mail and then pick the best ones. I wish more stuff in life was like that.
Yeah.
Really do have a lot of control.
You could touch upon that, like, if you could touch upon how you get your volumes out during the intensive, that would be awesome.
What I'll talk about, and I've already written it. There's a whole special use. Special use is how we make tons of money by buying special use property. Whether it's that's what I love about this property in Discord that you have, because it really is kind of a special use. I would urge you to keep that RV there, because it really is just a special use type property.
I agree.
Really? Keep it, huh? Oh boy.
Yep.
We have one.
The picture in Discord, like there's a microwave in there and pots and pans. You can see yourself living in there if you clean it up.
We have an Idaho one it's all rusted and a fence around it. But it's cool. Somebody's gonna love it. They're gonna think this is great. So
you know what I'll tell I'll tell the people to, like, not to worry. That they don't have to leave it right away, and then I'll kind of sell it, and then the guy who shows up to see it, I'll tell them, okay, you can either choose to keep it or leave it. So it'll be a choice.
I love it.
I wouldn't overthink it.
What about that's just so cool. That's how you market this stuff. The things too that I want to add, what we're all talking about right now in phase 2 due diligence for these land deals, and the stuff that you're uncovering, like Michael uncovered, what you now need to do is, when you say, yep, I'm buying it, obviously he's going to buy it. If we're picking it up for $14,000, and we already have a whitetail property guy who says he can sell it for $45,000, great. What if he does it all wrong and he sells it for $30,000? Oh, we're still great. So, which I don't believe that to be true, because my experience with those guys has been nothing but phenomenal. This is how your only other next job is to make sure that's properly conveyed, which they will. Hey, here's the deal. If anybody pulls it up on the flood map, you're ready for it. You can even put stuff in the posting like, it is used year round. You just need a ATV for the back half on whatever time when it rains. Who cares? People out there love that stuff. That's what's so funny too. It's hard sometimes when you're doing your phase 2 due diligence. You want to kill your deal if it's something that nobody wants, or if you realize your buyer's pool is going to be like the 3 neighbors around it kind of thing. Those deals I don't like, and those deals I don't do.
Phase 2 due diligence is I don't mean to cut you off, Joe, but phase 2 due diligence for me is a fancy title for use. Can I use it?
Correct.
And I'm going to pick on Michael again with this one deal. I mean, the use is licked on that deal. You're going to use it to put an RV on it, and trust me, you're going to sell it. I would, if your broker's saying 44, I'd list it for 65.
Yeah, I think someone's going to there. I love that word. Can you use it? It just
and the answer is yes.
So
you can park an RV.
You know, yeah. It's so clarifying just to ask that simple question: can I use it? Can somebody use it? So clarifying.
Does it have access? Can I get to it? And what can I use it for? And then, actually, I know Joe, like on that deal specifically, if a whitetail guy says 44, I would stop right there and just write the check. Wouldn't you, Joe?
Totally. My experience with those guys have been when they say that, they're going to come in pretty darn close.
And fast. We stopped, it used to be that we would get a broker's opinion, and this is the question that we would ask. Hey, broker, what can you sell this property for in less than a week? And then they take the retail number and then they knock it down. I'm going to talk about this in the program next week. We don't do that anymore. And it was on my advice, because the market's pretty hot everywhere, or especially where we're sending mail. We say, look, I want to sell this, but I want it to be a little bit closer to retail now. And we're having a lot of luck with that.
Especially if you can afford to hang out, some people, well, let me back up. So sometimes you have X amount of money to invest, right? So you need to sell something before you can turn around and send more mail and buy something. Don't let that hold you back. You can hang in there, let that go for a higher price, like Steven's just talking about. And the next couple deals that come in, so what? Use deal funding. And then, because you'll get ahead faster that way. Instead of waiting for it to sell and turn around and reinvest. That's a hard way to do it. And I'm glad that we can offer all that now. There's so many people out there with so much money that they want to lend to you, including us.
Exactly.
And it's
the
not
whole
alone,
key is to find great property and tons of it. It's not the money will totally come when that happens. There's a guy in our group that, for whatever reason, we're mailing the same area. It's just a total coincidence. And so what I did was I bought several properties from him. So now we have this arrangement where he runs all the properties by me, and we just pay him $10,000. And so we're buying multiple properties from him. If he negotiates a $30,000 price, we pay him $40,000. We do the deal and we pay him out escrow on the buy side, $10,000 for every property. It's working out great.
Yeah. Hey, Melody. I'm gonna let Melody.
Hi.
Hey, how are you?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Good, thank you.
I just wanted to say thank you so much for hosting these little meetings, just answering questions for people who are starting out and getting their toes wet. So thank you so much.
You're welcome. Glad you're here.
Thanks. So I am currently in stage 2 due diligence on a property, a 3-acre parcel for $9,000. And so far I've only done 2 other deals that were flat land and they sold quickly. This property in particular is sloped and it has a creek at the bottom of the property, paved road access. Everything is a really nice area. But what is your experience with properties that are sloped and have beautiful views with creeks, but they're not so easy to build on, I would imagine.
Can I drive up to it?
Yes.
Okay,
well,
good.
No, actually you would need to cross the creek with a culvert and then go up a slope.
How slopey is it?
Now I've got a few little issues.
I mean, culverts are no big deal.
Yeah.
I mean, is it already there? The culvert's there?
The culvert is it. There is a culvert there, but it's run down. And so I've reached out to the county, and the county actually will put in a culvert, and they basically do the whole thing. They'll come out there and dig it, and you just need to buy the pipe for it, which isn't very expensive.
May I, Joe?
Please.
What's happening in the immediate area? Is the same slope? Has somebody dealt with the same slope successfully?
I don't think they've built on it in that particular area.
Okay. I hate slopey property, and that's the truth, but we buy it all the time. As long as somebody in the immediate area has dealt with it successfully. And a lot of this is just, it's cultural because California's coastline is famous for slopey property that we have very successfully bought and sold. But I think if you try to pull that off in, let's say, Tennessee, it becomes an economics thing where you can't fix the slope because the property's not worth it. So
Yeah.
what state is this in?
It's in Tennessee.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I know that well.
You know what, Jill? Do you mind if she sends it to us and we just give her an opinion?
Yeah, totally. Or bring
Okay.
it. Are you going to be on the call at 3, Melody?
No, I am not.
Okay. Well, just send it in.
Okay.
Send it to Jill.
Hey, Steve. With regards to this advanced due diligence question and Melody's issue, do you have like a rule of thumb in terms of measurement, like 3-to-1, slope, or what's your max, degrees or something like that? Because we use the slope tool on Google Earth to figure out that slope.
I know what I do. I'm 100% about, has anyone solved this in the area? Number one. And is there any way I can find somewhat of a pad that somebody can do something? And if I really, really, really love it, and this is the only thing holding me back, and I can't tell it. I can't tell because I'm not standing there. I will hire somebody. I'll pay a couple $100, send a photographer out there with a drone to get me both, and then I can really know what's going on. And I don't care. I'd rather spend $300 to know for sure. And if it doesn't work out, fine. That was money well spent. It saved me. If it does work out, great. Now I've got my video and my photos for when I post it for sale because it's gorgeous.
That's exactly my answer, Joe. Exactly my answer. It's not. There's not a magic number where it's X degrees too slopey. The answer is relative to what's going on in that area.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you.
I was going to add, we have a personal one. Like, I'm going to just share this. Like, we have a property that we almost were going to build on, seriously, but we decided that we need another project, like we need a hole in the head kind of thing. And that's the reason we're not doing it. But we had to go out. We physically got eyes on it. And it's so, well, here's the truth. So we bought this property. Stephen thinks it's great for, you don't mind I'm sharing this because I am, Stephen, for personal use. We're going to build this great cabin in this great area. Are you going to say something?
No.
Okay, go ahead. Okay. So
I love sharing our failures.
This is awesome. So we sent an agent out there. Well, the agent drove up in a minivan, right? And she couldn't even get out and really look. So there's a top access to this property, and then there's bottom access to the property. On top of the hill, you look down, and then the bottom hill, you look up, right? Well, from the bottom of the hill, you go, oh no. Because as you stand at the bottom, it's like from the road straight up 10 feet, and then the property starts. Like they cut out the road there. And she's like, oh, no, not possible. And Stephen correctly said, oh, it's possible. She's missing it. So we sent our kid out there. We put our kid and made him drive out there and bought him lunch and whatever. You're like, here you go. Here's a credit card and a car. Go check this out. So bless his heart, took all day to check out this property. It's the greatest thing. And he got to meet something.
So fun to watch your kids fail.
Totally.
I don't know why that is.
He's like, he's getting stuck. He didn't know how to get back out of there because there's nowhere to turn around. And he's freaked out. It was just the funniest thing. So anyway, we actually went and got eyes on it. And it's a great property.
It's an amazing property, actually. Nobody saw it. We saw it, Joe. We were the only ones who saw it,
Yeah, exactly. So you had to get out there. And so we ultimately decided we're not going to build on it. And I'm just about to list it with a local agent. But I'm going to have, it's not the same that we sent out the first time because she did not get it. I need to have a conversation with this next agent, and I'm going to talk to her like this is one of the ones that I can honestly say, because it doesn't happen this is 1% that I can say I've stood there. I know how great it is. I know what the view is. I've met some of the neighbors.
Yep.
It's awesome. So we need to make sure we're on the same page price wise, and how wonderful this is for the next person.
Joe, I hope you bring that up in your talk, because that's not something I would do. I would not meet the neighbors. I would avoid the neighbors. But we learned so much by talking to that neighbor. They knew the former owner and the whole thing.
Yeah, and it's like when you get back in this area, there's like 5 houses. That's it. So here we come walking down the hill, and they're like, "Okay, who the hell are these people?" And I was like, it was so funny. Oh my gosh, but it's really cool. They're really nice. So yep, good stuff. And good question, Melody. I'll look forward to seeing that. Hey,
Hey,
Justice, how are you?
I'm doing well. It's nice to speak with you guys again.
Thank
Yeah.
you. What's going
Yeah.
on?
Yeah, I just had a quick question. You guys are talking about due diligence. Um, I don't have too much experience working with realtors when it comes to selling properties, and I think it's because I really didn't focus on higher end deals as much as I probably wish I have. But my question is, like, when you guys are doing pulling up the properties and you're looking at it and it's a higher end deal, say north of 100K at least, are you, and forgive me if I kind of jumped in this a little late, you might have already spoke about it, but are you kind of passing it to the your realtor, your broker? I think you were saying something on those lines where they're analyzing it and telling you, yeah, they could probably sell this property for a good amount, and you could make some kind of return on it before you buy the property.
Yes, I'm doing.
Yes, the
I got.
answer is unequivocally yes, especially at that number.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And then
Yes,
my next question would be, like, when it comes to those bigger end properties, what do you think are the standout tips that you would have when it comes to investing into not only higher end deals, but rural, larger acreage, higher end deals?
that's my
Like, if
favorite.
I don't know if am I cutting out at all? I'm traveling to California at this right now.
Oh, I'm so sorry to hear that.
Why? Why,
I see.
Justice?
Yeah, we're in Arizona right now. No, there's actually a few things that because we're in transition, moving from California to Arizona, and there's just a couple things I need to handle over here before I can completely transition.
We just did that same thing.
Understood.
Oh wow.
Couldn't be happier.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm really happy with the weather right now over here. I heard it's pretty
Mm-hmm.
cold where we're going, but
It comes down to the money for us, and then it comes down to one word: use. And so, if you're looking at property that's zoned agricultural, which is my favorite zoning, my absolute favorite, because it gives you the most options. Vast majority of places that we come across, especially when it's county land, it's not in an incorporated city. If it's zoned agricultural, you can do just about anything you want. That's not commercial related, as long as it's residential. Put a mobile home on it or all kinds of stuff. So it just comes down to use, and it comes down to like kind scenarios. If you get too far out, there's no examples of how you can use the property, so you got to buy it cheap. It's very often in those situations where Jill will call back and she will say, after she befriends, I should have recorded that conversation yesterday, Jill, on that 3-unit deal, because I know we're going to buy it we sent an offer for 11,000 on one property, and I know we're going to buy all 3 properties for $1,000.
It's recorded.
Oh, good. Okay.
Mm-hmm. I have
Yeah,
it. I actually, it's funny. I was thinking about using that in my program coming up, because I'm collecting pertinent and current calls that I'm going to cover in my mini program in November about
Aaron,
how I get deals
we
done.
should probably call this thing by its name. Aaron,
What
is
is
there
it
a name for
called?
this?
What do we call these, Aaron? Is it a mini program? What are you calling it? I think.
Well, I liked the name intensives, and then Jill did not like the name intensives, but I used the name intensives anyway.
Oh, I like that. Okay.
So I've been calling them the intensives, but we also call them like mini program. I've been trying to avoid mini career path, but people are calling it that too. So I like intensives better.
Cool.
And shameless plug, if you go to landacademy.com/intensives, that's where you'll find like a weekly breakdown of schedules, everything that's covered, all of the information is there.
Nice. Thank you, Erin. Thanks for sharing. Okay, I will call it intensives. So part of it is like it's like a deep dive of part of what we do in career path, and then um, on steroids. Same thing. And then just so you know too that I don't know if, well, we'll announce it later anyway. But they're going to be good. I'm really excited. I was
What
going to
these
talk a little bit.
programs really, what these programs really do is fill in the gaps. Okay, I mean, I don't care what college course you take or any type of education. You either read a book or you watch a video or whatever. You have questions, and so these programs, I know this. This is not my own opinion. It's because I spent a lot of time with career path people, even after the programs are completed, and they say, yeah, there's no way I would have known this unless I took career path or these intensive classes. Now we're trying.
I agree. It doesn't matter what level you're at too.
Hmm.
I will never stop trying to perfect what I do.
Me too.
I'd be nuts to do that. I want to stay current. Everybody's got new information, new ideas. Just listen to someone else that, think and brainstorm. It helps me go, oh, you know what? Maybe I should look at this, how I'm doing this a different way. It will launch something for me totally different. I get something out of it. I read way more educational. I know that's kind of that's you, Stephen. You watch fiction, but you read factual, right?
Hmm.
And
Yeah, that's true.
mhm. And I read a lot of factual too. That's just kind of my thing. I always like books that are going to push me and teach me things, even in different industries. I'm reading this book from someone in the hotel industry, and I'm going to pick something up out of there. I'm going to get some I'm already am. It's kind of really interesting the things how other people have run their businesses, dealing with customers and dealing with employees and things like that.
I'm going to read that when you're done.
It's cool.
We live real close to a Marriott resort that was started by two people in Arizona in Scottsdale a long, long time ago, when there was nothing here, and ultimately sold it to Marriott. And it's I don't know if it's a 5-star resort, but it's at least 4. It's just an interesting story. Jill's talking to me about it while she's reading it. There are a lot of similarities between this and what we do.
It's really cool.
I had another. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, we got you, Justice.
Yeah. I had another question based off that same topic I was talking about last time, and it's about like the pricing. And you guys were kind of talking about actually holding on to a property, maybe not minding to sell it retail for over the course of maybe, I don't know what, like 6 months to a year on those terms. That was kind of like my plan for this coming year, was to really liquidate a lot of the properties that I have now, wholesale them out, and just buy a bunch of really larger acreage, higher end deals and hold them. Not hold them, but try to get as much as I can for them. And I guess it doesn't have to be full retail, but definitely not where I'm just making only maybe 30 grand or something on those lines, but maybe a little bit more. Try to get closer as much as I can for them within a 6 month period, I was assuming. Do you guys do that at all? You guys were saying you touched that, or do you, when you get a whole, like a big kind of more expensive property, do you kind of wholesale that as well? And just to make a quick 30 or 40 or
So
something
Jill and
like
I
that.
do different deals. There's some deals we do together. There's some that she just does, and there's some that I do. And I have graduated myself to exactly what you're talking about. The deals that I do, because we don't, there's no immediate need for cash flow. Mostly because of the deals that Jill does. I retail my properties, and if it takes a year, it takes a year. They're urban. They're in small towns in 3 separate states. That's where I send mail, and they're drive right up to it properties, and I post them for retail or higher, and just wait. And almost in every case, they sell faster than I think they're going to sell. I think you should have 2 operations: cash flow operation A balance sheet operation is what I call it.
Mm-hmm. That's perfect.
Thank you.
You
Yeah.
got it. And I
And
was going to circle back around to your broker thing too, Justice. I want to just make sure we talk about it. They're most good brokers, you could call when I'm doing my phase 2 or phase 3 now due diligence. Like I'm like, okay, I just really want to make sure it's someone that knows the area and get their last minute opinion before I wire the money. I've literally done that. I'll call a couple brokers and I'm getting their feel for it, and I'm comfortable sharing with it because I'm that far down in the process here, and I am kind of interviewing them to see maybe this guy's going to sell it for me and I don't have to do anything. So, and you reach out to a couple and reach out to like 5, 2 or 3 will get back to you, and hopefully you'll connect with one of them, and you're gonna and then you would either like I'll list it with them right then and there, or I'll say I'm gonna try to sell it on my own for give myself like 2 weeks, see if I sell it. If I don't, I'll just pass it off to that guy. Like, hey, remember we talked? Would you please list it? And they're all excited and done.
awesome. Thank you for that.
Cool. Did you have another question you want to add?
Um, yeah. No, it's just yeah. I'm just really thinking of selling, doing a certain price range now,
Mm-hmm.
and doing kind of exactly what you guys were just saying, creating a steady flow of income with one side of the business, probably just wholesaling the properties. But I really wanted to put some of the money away back into larger properties and not just really have to wholesale it and just try to, yeah, like what Steve said, if it takes 6 months, it takes 6 months, or if it takes a year, it takes a year. But I was accounting for really just actually buying all of them at the very beginning of this coming year, and then I could fit it. I guess it'd be a way to really I'm trying to, I guess, double my income
Mm-hmm.
through larger deals and doing way less transactions, all while I'm just simply doing smaller deals like 50K to 75K, but just on those lines. And I was just trying to get insight on that because I haven't quite really pressed the gas on that quite just yet.
That's
And
exactly what we
Here's
do, Justice, and I
yeah.
love it.
Here's
I
my
have the 2
suggestion.
running at the same time. Yep.
Yeah, exactly. My operation, I try to make $2 million a year. Buy for 30, sell for 100 or 125, and you only need to do 20 deals, to do that, or less than that, 15 deals, which is really 1 or 2 deals a month. And if you can parcel split, which is what I'll talk about in this intensive thing, now you're not even doing that many deals. If you can parcel split, like the famous Texas and Florida and Arizona are famous for parcel splitting. So buy one property for $50,000 or $60,000, you create 5 APNs out of it, which doesn't happen overnight. And I'm oversimplifying it just for math reasons. And sell all those properties for 50 or 60,000 bucks each. You have to do 5 or 6 deals a year, and that's it to make $1 million net. So, that's taking into consideration that you've got cash flow happening somewhere else. So that's why with Jill, we eat because of Jill's deals, and we have a retirement because of mine.
exactly. And I was thinking the exact same thing. I just need to do 20 deals on one side of the business, and almost as if a different approach on the other side, just use whatever extra capital to actually invest. And um, I don't want to necessarily wholesale out a large deal that it took me a long time to even want to get, and also do a lot of due diligence on, and I just want to make sure I get as much money as I can, and almost do get almost the same amount of revenue from those larger deals as I do the smaller deals, but they all kind of line up throughout the year at the same time. You're just doing less transactions for one, and you're putting more capital up front. That's kind of just how I was seeing it, and I'm glad you guys were able to share some insight on that. I appreciate everything.
Mm-hmm.
Perfect. If this is a perfect when you find that big deal, Justice, when you're staring at yourself going, okay, buy for 200,000, sell for 500,000. I see it. I totally see it. But putting down $200,000 is a lot of money. It is. So that's a perfect time you can ease into it by doing deal funding, like using somebody else's money or splitting it with somebody too. That might help. And then, it makes me feel better, even, having you have another pair of eyes there, and it's not just your money hanging out there, kind of thing. So I think that'd be a perfect way to jump into it, if you will.
Yeah, that was definitely something I was considering, because I feel like, well, I don't know if I guess this is just kind of biased, but I feel like it's more interesting for deal funding when the deal is larger and there's more spread on it. And it's maybe easier to fund. Am I wrong off that with that?
I think the little ones are really easy to fund. Anything like the $20,000 to $50,000, those are very easy checks to write. $200,000 already takes a step back and thinks for just a minute.
Yeah, I got you.
And when someone comes to me, like I've had great success. I've had great success with people that have come to me with those exact deals. And I said, look, I know you, I trust you, I know you know this area, but can we please split this? And they're like, heck yeah. And I'm happy to do that. So we each put in 100,000, everybody sleeps well. There you go.
We just passed on a deal, buy for 180, sell for 360, I think it was, for a bunch of reasons. And I don't like deals like that. I don't like $180,000 deals. I would much rather buy for 30 to 50 and sell for 100, 120, just like clockwork.
But I'll have a few going. We have one right now. I have a big one right now. And I just got one that came in today, which was like crazy numbers. And I'm like, I think I can get it for 13 million. I'm like, hold on a moment, everybody. Right now we're under contract for 18 million. I'm like, hold on a minute, everybody.
What's the sell price? What's the sell side? 22
million. I tagged you on this. So he's like, I got it for 18 million. I think I can sell it for 22 million, but I think I can get him down to 13 million. Okay. I need to think about writing a check like that. And number one, and number two, I'm not going to write a whole check like that. I will be totally honest. I'm not writing that check. I do not recall. I don't have it in front of me right now, but I tagged you. It's in your email.
Okay.
I tagged you at Airtable.
What do you think you could sell it at if you're buying it for 75? Like, what do you think the typical range would be if you're selling it retail, for example?
200.
Perfect. Okay. So I just sent out a lot of mail based off of that.
There you go.
That's a great place to. I think that's great, actually.
Yeah.
I'd love that.
Perfect, because I'm glad I'm like right aligned with that right now. Like, I have a property that I want to sell. I bought it for 75, and then I was planning on listing it for 200 exactly, and then I just dumped out a bunch of mail for the same thing. I guess I'm obsessed with this idea of doubling, not necessarily your income, or the profit on it, or the revenue, but the actual property. So if I could buy for 75, sell it for 200, well, doesn't that mean I could not including taxes that might slow you down a little bit, but does that mean I can go buy 2 more of those same properties, and then that means it'll turn into 4, and then 8, and then 16?
Yep.
Yeah, that's my fault. I put that in your head, and we pretty much double our money, don't we, Joe?
Yeah, that's my goal.
But that's not going to stop us.
It doesn't always go perfect, but that's my goal.
And that's not going to. If I look back at all the deals we've ever done and put it in a spreadsheet, we've doubled our money. It's like 52%. So.
Yeah. Well, it's perfect too. But it was just like the idea of like a penny doubled over the course of 30 days. And I was just kind of like doing that. Well, what if I did that with larger properties?
Yeah.
And not just larger properties, but the 50K lots too. Like, what if, over the course of this period of time, I just reinvest back everything again. Don't spend too much. Give or take taxes, of course, but just keep doubling the amount of properties that I'm able to purchase, or and still do the actual. And I guess I'm talking about selling them almost retail, maybe a slight discount but still do this wholesaling on the side so I can have income. My attention.
I would run two scenarios. I happen to know Justice. You are part of our community, and then so if you haven't yet, in the equity planner part, that the spreadsheet that Stephen put in there, that you can kind of back into it. Like I would have like two versions of it. You have the long version and then the short version. The food on the table every day. We're gonna, just like a machine, buy and sell for this, and then over here, like Steve and I are talking, that's kind of on Steven's side. Now I'm gonna really go for these big ones and let them ride out, and that's gonna put us in a whole different financial position. And I'm not in a
Mm-hmm.
hurry. It's
Exactly. Yeah,
Sounds like
that's
you're really
exactly how I thought.
sounds like you're really on your way.
mm-hmm.
I'm really glad the program worked for you, Justice.
And the other positive thing is you made a very good life decision. Like you're
Yeah.
based on what you're wrapping up right now, because we made that same life decision. It
Hey,
was hard.
your tax return is going to be a lot different a year from now.
Oh my gosh. That's true. Wait a year or two, Justin, and it's gonna kick it, Justice, and you're gonna go, oh, thank goodness, I'm so glad we're not there
Mm-hmm.
anymore. Yep. And you
Totally.
can visit all the
Yeah.
time, all you want.
Yeah, I really appreciate the program. It's such a refreshing way to like reinvent the way I'm going about the business because I'm not quite used to doing it exactly this way, but because I already have a decent amount of experience, I'm able to jump into it rather quickly. I've kind of done it already a little bit, but I really didn't focus on just sending straight blind offers out. But honestly, it's so much easier. And then also incorporating bigger deals is just so much less of a headache. It's insane. It's like
Right?
it helps for. I mean, I'm making more money, so I'm going to get taxed a little bit more. But um, the paperwork is so easy. Like there's nothing to it. It's easy to organize. It's no work. I don't have to self close anything. It's like
Right?
ridiculously makes me like the business a little bit more. I guess if that makes sense.
Totally. And when you find a really good broker that you connect with, you're gonna have that conversation. You're gonna say, okay, you're gonna tell me what you need to sell right now, and I'm gonna go get them. And you're gonna do no work. All you're gonna do, Justice, is queue up all the deals. Let your broker say yes, yes, yes. They could even tell you, I could sell this for that. This one stinks. Here's why. And they'll do all the work for you. It's gonna be nice. That's my
You can
favorite.
remove half
Hmm.
of your business responsibilities with one or two good brokers,
Hmm.
land brokers.
Wow.
Yep.
Yeah, and I'm hearing you guys say that. I was calling a bunch of realtors and brokers the other day for one of that larger property that I have, and I got a couple connections. But hearing you guys say that's even better. Like I keep thinking of like what steps could I eliminate, just not do anymore. Like what to make this like the most simplest business I possibly can. I think Michael was saying it. Yeah, it's not. It's simple, but it's not necessarily easy. But if I can make it simple and I could
Hmm.
wrap my head around it, and I could just A to B, and I feel like I could. It's a speed, it's a lot
Mm-hmm.
faster.
Yep.
So I'm definitely going to hone in on what you guys are saying right there.
Good.
Good.
I'm glad. Hey, I'm gonna do one more. I'm gonna get Hunter up here. Hey, Hunter, if you're still there and you wanna say hi real quick, I'd love to answer your question. Or how are
Hey there.
you?
Yeah, I'm good. How are you guys?
Good,
Excellent.
thank you.
So my question was, I put out a bunch of mail because I had a lull period because I didn't put out enough mail. So then I overcompensated, I put out too much mail, and then
Done
to
that.
get those dopamine hits, you start craving the dopamine hit of mail coming in, and then got a huge response. And where I mailed, it's just like a lot of uh, older people liquidating portfolios. It seems like because they keep sending me down rabbit holes and on the due diligence, and I'm like, I mailed for the raw land, but I'm getting all kinds of crazy asset classes, and they look interesting, but it's also occupying a lot of my time now. So I'm not
Hmm.
sure. Do you have any tips like to focus? Because like I don't want to, at the same time I don't want to miss out on something cool. It's like I got the FOMO going on.
Let me clarify the question for everybody who's listening. What happens when you send a lot of mail out is that, and this just happened to Jill yesterday. She offered $11,000 for a piece of property in our target area, and she got the seller called back, and she said, "Yeah, I want to sell this property to you for $11,000, but I have these two other properties. Can you please make me an offer because I want to sell it all?" So, what do you think, Jill? Do you like that or not like it?
I love it, actually, but that's easier to do. Sometimes they'll come back and they're like, I have 40, and they send you a spreadsheet. That's where you can get really bogged down. So how many is it, Hunter? I'm curious.
Like right now in my deal flow, uh, what do you call it? Spreadsheet. I've got like 20 properties from one county, a couple from another, from an older mailer, a few weeks older, and then I have this other one where I mailed it, and I've got like 5 responses, but it seems like every single one has like at least 5 properties that they want to liquidate with it. So it's like, you could, that's like a multiplier effect on that one. So I just got
Mm-hmm.
way too much going on, and I've narrowed it down with the 20 response mailer of decent ones. I mean, I got a lot more people calling me back than 20 people, but it's narrowed down to 20, and and so I'm like, I feel like I just bit off a little more than I could chew with that one. And I just got impatient and just sent out a bunch of mail.
First of all, let's all take a step back and realize how great this is.
Yeah.
I wish I
The
had that.
volume of deal flow,
Yep.
right? Here we go. Michael's like, "What? You're complaining because you got so many great deals." Hold on a moment. That's the greatest thing. You did everything right, Hunter. This is going to keep you from making it's so much better to have too many deals so you
Absolutely,
can
Jill.
cherry pick the best
Yep.
than to have 3 and go, darn it. All right, maybe which one's got the least flaws? Maybe I can make this work. We don't want that. So, speaking from experience, I would do 5-minute level 1 due diligence on all of my target properties first and put them in order. Which are the easiest? Which are the best? Which you probably have a home run in there. You're gonna like, oh, I know what this is gonna do, kind of thing. So that one's right at the top. Start working those deals, and then, and as you go down your list, kick out the ones. Be picky. You heard us. Be picky. There's nothing wrong being picky. You know how to send out a lot of mail. And or two, the other thing too, when you're talking to these sellers, get a sense of how their sense of urgency, because you might be able to, take a little bit of time on some of these and circle back around. But that's kind of what I want you to do too. Get the easy ones out of the way. Don't let something bog you down, keeping you from doing these easy, fast deals. And then when you come up for air, like at 3 a.m., I don't know, then you can sit and dig in, see what might be here too. The only thing I want to caution you, don't it's easy to get lost learning a new area and a new property type, and I just don't want you to go down that hole yet, if that makes sense.
Yeah, these are generally in the same part of the country,
Oh, good.
2 different states, but the majority of them are in one state, and it's pretty similar state to state out there.
Oh, good.
I mean, it's similar isn't like kind of upside down and backwards, but like it's still similar in that way. I'm navigating it, and like,
Good.
but it's kind of rural for sure. Yeah, okay, I appreciate that, just because it's I have them in order, and I've put them in the spreadsheet according to like when they came in and when I need to call back by, and
Perfect.
and so I have that going on, which that kind of forced me to start that process, because I've only been doing this since April, so I don't have my my order down yet. This is forcing me to get there, so that's great.
Yeah.
But okay, but as far as all the other stuff though, like the other asset classes that aren't just raw land, like those are the ones that are like cans of worms, but they kind of look like they could be interesting. But just make sure I do the fast ones first, and then go back and whoever has a more expansive time frame, then go in and kind of uh, dig into those when I do have time.
Yeah. You might
Okay.
find something great in there. Do you want to add or change any of that, Stephen?
No, I think when you've got 20 deals to choose from, and you choose the best 2, it's really hard to lose.
Okay.
So
Yeah, that's kind of like where I'm at now.
sending too much mail, put those deals that you're not going to do in Discord. Somebody will buy them from you. Somebody will see something that you don't. That's my suggestion.
Yeah. I already know a couple of people that have operated in that area and actually live semi-local. So, and they've been giving me pointers, which is awesome. So,
Great.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you guys.
That's good.
All right.
You're
Thanks for having me.
welcome.
See you in
You're
an
so
hour.
welcome. You got it.
Okay.
Exactly. And maybe we'll see one of those deals in an hour.
Yeah.
You probably will, actually. Yeah.
Okay.
I got to go pull out the laptop and figure out which ones I want to put on there.
Okay, cool.
The hottest ones. All right. Thanks, guys.
Awesome. You're welcome. So what we're talking about is in 48 minutes from now, we will be live also in our own closed Land Academy member call that we do every week on Thursdays. And if you're not a member and you want to hear more about this, watch us looking at some deals, answering really detailed questions, please feel free to join us. We would love to have you. All you have to do is send a note to my team, support@landacademy.com, and just say, hey, I want to get on the call today at 3 o'clock Pacific time. Can I please get an invite? And they will send you an invite to Zoom, and so you can get in, see it, watch us. And it's different. It's like almost, we don't really talk like this, but you type in your questions and you see on screen us talking about the deals, reviewing the deals, answering your questions, all that good stuff. So if you want to get in, please feel free. And then our topic next time, Stephen came up with this, and I'm looking forward to this. Our next Clubhouse is in 2 weeks on November 4th, and we're going to talk about special use land and how to find it. You know, how to target your mailer to get the special use land, and it's a lot of the stuff that we're doing right now. And then there's one last follow-up. Don't forget we have these intensives, according to Aaron, mini programs, depending who you talk to. And they're in November. So I think we're about to close those up here. So if you're on the fence about it, if you have any questions, please reach out to my team. They're going to be awesome. It's 3 weeks. I'm doing my own. Steven's doing his own. Some things that we both do individually very well. And it's a couple hours on a Tuesday or Wednesday. I can't remember what it is. It's in the thing where Aaron sent to go. So check that out. Just go to Land Academy and you can find all this stuff. Or call Land Academy and you can find all this. And thank you. Thank you, Stephen. Thank you, Aaron. Thank you, everybody who joined in. This was another awesome Clubhouse gathering. I love these. And I look forward to chatting with you all in 2 weeks.
Thanks, Joe.
Thanks. You're welcome.
Thank you.